This is Joe Costello's WFO Radio Ignition, covering everything that has wheels, an engine, and a driver.
The reason I race is to get the chicks. You know what I mean?
NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, sports cars, and NHRA drag racing.
Hey guys, just want to let you know, WFO rocks.
WFO Radio is total motorsports.
It's just so cool.
Fasten your seatbelts, fire up the ignition, and drop the hammer.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, here's your host, Joe Costello.
WFO, how's everybody doing out there? WFO Radio is on the air, following up the historic inaugural Miami Formula One Grand Prix out there at Hard Rock Stadium. And now you all know what I have been trying to tell everybody for the past 6 months, 3 months, however long did they start building that track, that we were going to have a world-class and amazing event. And I'm super excited that over the years here on WFO Radio, like, we have been building up the interest in Formula One from and around South Florida. And it crescendos with this incredible event. We were there. Now, don't get me wrong. I know not everybody that listens to WFO Radio Ignition cares about Formula One. NHRA drag racing this week, Richmond, Virginia. We're going. It's going to be great. We got Reinhardt. We got Spider-Man McBride on the show this week on NHRA Nitro, Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Then Wednesday, 12 noon, Steve Johnson. Big rules change for the Suzukis. He no longer has to eat broccoli at every meal. That is great stuff. We're going to have Justin Ashley later on in the day at 2 p.m. as I'm putting together a great week of WFO radio content. So if you are new to the podcast, if you met us out at the race and you're checking out the show, welcome, but we will talk a healthy dose of Formula One. Oh, I had to hedge it a little bit with the folks out there because even the Patreons, I did a Patreon only thing. No comments, really. Just not a lot of commentary on the Formula One. I think people are blown away by what is possible. And we're going to get into all of that. We're going to bring on Giovanni in Miami. But first, we're going to look at some photographs taken of the course and the campus and all of that. It's going to be great. And those of you who are out there in the audio-only world, don't worry. We'll put this one up on YouTube. We'll put it on YouTube because there's pictures involved. I want the audio-only folks to feel welcome and positive and all of that. But first, got to tell you about the people who make it possible for me to go WFO, like the folks at PhillipsConnect.com. If you are in the fleet industry, trucks, trailers, if you sell trailers to racers, if you manage a fleet more than a couple, you are going to want to get connected with Phillips-Connect.com. Over-the-road trucks and trailers. Well, what does it mean? They, with sensors and technology, they allow you to keep track of the most important of elements, like whether or not the air tank is loaded for brakes, wheel ends, weight, fire, air temperature monitoring, all of these different things, ABS lamp detection, all of these things that make your loads safer over the road. Go to Phillips-Connect.com to find out more. It is an enterprise business, so the average person has to go through a dealer, but check them out, and maybe that is you. Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology, TotalSeal.com. We've got a brand new podcast up. Go check out HiddenHorsepower.com, but really it's an exercise in ring seal. And you know what? Some of those cars that were racing around the Miami Autodrome had Total Seal piston rings in them, but I can't tell you which ones. VP Racing Fuels. Go to the website, sign up for the newsletter, and next time you are in your local auto parts store, VP Fuel Additives available for you. If you want to support WFO Radio, or if you just want your car to run better, believe it or not. VP Lubricants, VP Racing Fuels. They're making a huge push, doing a great job, folks at VP Racing Fuels, supporting WFO Radio. And then, of course, FTI Performance Racing Transmissions. We appreciate those guys in DeLand, Florida. Power glides, torque converters, their own transmission fluid, but also transmissions for top dragster, top sportsmen, and even pro modified monster trucks, mega trucks. If you're looking for an automatic transmission for your high horsepower race car or street car, go to ftiperformance.com. Later on in the show, we'll tell you about our great friend Marvin Rodak and, of course, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School and samtech.edu and how you can join the Patreons and become a VIP member. But right now, it's time to bring on the co-host of the show. He was out there at Formula One with me this past weekend on Sunday race day. We had the experience. We are going to debrief Miami style, a little bit of a locals perspective to the Formula One Grand Prix, the crypto.com Formula One Grand Prix. And look at him wearing his brand new Ferrari gear. Giovanni in Miami. What's up, Gio?
All right.
All right. All right, man. This is it. The culmination of, I don't know if it was a year or so that they announced that we were going to have this Formula One Grand Prix. I had been to Formula One in Indianapolis previously. We pretty much watch every race every season. And now we have seen it Miami style. I have my thoughts. I can certainly go into them in that I've done a lot of social media. I think it's the greatest single event in the history of the city of Miami. I think it has surpassed the Super Bowls. If there'll be another Super Bowl, maybe it will surpass Formula One. But until there is, the top event that Miami has ever hosted, in the sporting world certainly, and probably beyond, is this event. I was moved by it. I thought they did a near flawless and near perfect job of execution. We could certainly nitpick, and we will. And we will. We'll pick out the stuff that we didn't like because that's what you do on these shows. But generally, I felt like it lived up to the hype. And I walked out of there feeling great and inspired of what else is possible in the world. Like, wow, maybe we can feed everybody. If we can do this, who knows? That's exaggeration for humor, guys. Don't worry. I don't really think that's something that extreme. But generally, I was blown away with the event. What about you?
Oh, I thought it was fantastic. There are not enough superlatives and adjectives to describe what a home run was hit by Stephen Ross and the Miami Dolphins and Tom Garfinkel. They, you say that a year that we have been talking about it, and yes, that's when it was confirmed, but behind the scenes, this has been going on, 4 or 5 years, the planification and everything that went on behind the scenes to get this done between Liberty and the city and this place and that place, and the place where they wanted to do it really wasn't feasible, and coming up with this track and everything and all of the giant logistics that it takes to put on the kind of event that they actually just put on. And I don't think, I know you're one for a very big homer and hyperbole and one, but I think in this case here, it is not hyperbole to suggest or even an exaggeration that this is by far the most gigantic event, sporting or non-sporting wise, to ever take place down here in South Florida. I wouldn't even say Miami because, it technically took place in Miami Gardens right there on the Dade County Broward line where the Miami Dolphins play. And, the TV didn't try to fake it. I mean, everybody just considers that this whole region is Miami Beach. Remember LeBron took his services to South Beach, even though the Heat don't play on South Beach or,
right.
or any of that. But nonetheless, I think overall revenue-wise and the fact that this is not during the prime, this is kind of May is really already kicking into the off season down here. The summer is when people really get out of here. The tourist season is the winter season everywhere else. Is really the busy tourist season when the hotels are most expensive and the restaurants are charging the most. And from everything I understand, this weekend the hotel rates were through the roof everywhere. I mean, that you couldn't get a hotel anywhere in town for less than $1,000 a night, pretty much. And all the elite restaurants all over town, and and that's one thing this place is not hurting for is super exclusive, she extremely expensive restaurants. There, you could throw a rock and hit 5 of them, and every one of them was sold out and charging double the rates that they normally do.
Absolutely.
On the menu price. That's why they put market on those menus. And from everything I understood, I've read and seen and talked to people in business, it's just an absolute home run. I think the number's been kicked out there that the Dolphin, and I say the Dolphins because it's not really the Dolphins; it's the Stephen Ross group. But they made a special subsidy of the Stephen. It's called the South Florida Motorsports is the name of the group that actually put on the promoter of the race, and that is obviously owned by Stephen Ross and the Tom Garfinkel, and they have put on a show down here like no one has ever seen, man, because this is a town that loves to party and loves the celebrities. And on a weekend when the Kentucky Derby was going on, all the A-list celebrities were down here when normally we see them over there walking, getting their mint juleps and acting the fool at the Kentucky Derby. They were all in here oohing and eyeing over the F1 guys.
Simple as that. And there's 100 different angles we can go. Like we are tending to go into the event side of it, right? Like, like how did they put on such a successful event? The race, and people are, well, the race wasn't as exciting as I thought, or there were as many passes for the lead as I thought, or so, the driver said the track was bumpy. I heard a couple people tell me that, like, oh, the track was a little bumpy, and why didn't they make the track flatter? And yeah, I guess all of those things will slot in eventually.
Yeah, we've heard the athletes complain before, oh, the field is not this, or, it's too cold, it's too hot. Get out of here with that. All right. The track conditions. The least thing, yes, it was 1,000 degrees out there. Okay. First event.
And so that's what I'm going to make a bold prediction.
Event, they will. I promise you this, that one thing we've learned about Stephen Ross is that when the first time, it's almost like a dress rehearsal. As soon as people get out there and we go through it and we figure out, okay, what needs improvement and what totally sucks, that stuff gets taken care of within the first couple of years. Immediately with the stadium, right after the renovations, there was a couple of things that, the fans and the season ticket holders start complaining about right away. Those things get taken care of with these guys. They don't know how to win football games, but they know how to spend money.
You say that all the time, but you're just taking a shot because they're going to get that figured out eventually too. He came into a very difficult situation.
All I'm trying to say is that there are teams that they don't win, and it's not for lack of effort over here. They're spending money. They're doing the best they can. They just suck at their jobs.
Yeah, but they don't suck at their jobs.
No,
Certain
they
people
do.
suck at their
they
jobs.
Don't suck at making money, but they suck at putting a winning
Well,
product.
they're very good at making the money, which obviously did. My bold prediction is that the thing that's, things that sucked, right? Like things that sucked. Well, the heat was really, really challenging. We made it.
Whoop.
Got there at like 10 in the morning. We left at 7 p.m. at night. We stayed hydrated, mostly with water, but somewhat with alcohol. We walked the whole campus. We took photographs of everything. And I've got that video. We're going to post it. But I really do believe, and I genuinely feel this, that this event screams to be at night in Miami. And that maybe the 3, 4, or 5 year mark. I don't know what they're going to do with lights at Vegas. That's definitely going to be a nighttime thing. Maybe they're going to own those lights and have them stay in North America and then move them around between here and there. Who knows? But my prediction is that this will ultimately become a nighttime Miami event, which will just juice it up even more. Like it's going to make it even more crazy intense with the checkered flag falling at 10 p.m., say, start at 8, end at 10, and then send everybody out into the Miami night for more chaos and bedlam. Saturday night with Sunday as a day of recovery. If you just want to tweak it and tune it to make it a little more friendly for the people, because I know I was dragging today. It was a challenge. You had to go to work, right? But
yeah, man.
Wow.
Regular Monday, crack of dawn, school. Got to get people up, school, breakfast, on the way, out the door.
Exactly.
But
okay, so let's bring on a couple of our Patreon
You just
co-hosts.
mentioned something though about the lights that I hadn't considered. That could be problematic. Getting those things, approved and done. They might have to just they're gonna have to throw a lot more than $45,000 in Miami Gardens for that one.
Why is that?
For them to be able to bring in lights and to run the event at night, the neighborhood people are gonna freak out.
I don't think it changes very much, honestly. A Saturday night versus a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, the lights, man. The lights. They're gonna freak out about the lights,
shining
until midnight and whatever.
They just shine on the track. They're just shining on the track. They're not shining into these people's living rooms.
Yeah.
They're not shining into the neighborhoods. They're just shining onto the track. And
Look,
that
I
track,
understand what you're saying, but believe me, that's going to be a sticking point.
and also, you know what? That whole neighborhood sticking point, right? Like that neighborhood sticking point. If those guys, if we're calling people out, whoever was the
Parking
person,
situation.
whoever had the person, the idea, parking wasn't great. Like parking could be better. I heard an option today that we didn't know about, which I might have actually considered. Let's talk about it. But whoever was in that community who thought we should fight against this, that person on this day, if they had available like those old school, the stocks that you put your wrists and your head out and people can throw fruit at you on the day after, that person should be in the stocks and they should be publicly humiliated, because had they gotten their way, whoever, well, it's always like 1 or 2, 3 business owners that are like a busybody and they want to sue and they want to stop everything, whatever. So much money not only was made, there were some businesses that didn't bother to open because they didn't know what it was. They didn't understand. They didn't realize what was coming. Next year, they can learn from their mistake. This thing is happening for 10 years, 9 more years. So they're going to have 9 years, people in that community, to figure out how to take advantage of this circumstance one way or another. And I think that they will. So the people who are like, oh, we don't want it, for 3 days of annoyance, and there was the traffic has never been worse there, right? Like,
No, it is definitely nothing like even like the Super Bowl, to be honest with you.
no, because the parking lot is gone. So they had
All of the parking lots are gone is really the problem. All of the parking lots are gone.
Everyone. So, hey, just want to let you know, since I'm going to put this on YouTube, I don't know what's going on with your internet connection, but your audio is great, but you're freezing up every once in a while. So I don't know if you've got other things running in the background that's consuming your bandwidth. But
there's nothing I could do. And if that's the case, I can't go turn up the internet or
turn it up.
Anything. Yep.
So apparently we could have gone to the Hard Rock Casino
and to try to get a better signal.
Apparently we could have gone to the Hard Rock Casino, parked for free, and taken one of those nice fancy buses over. Would that have been a better option?
Okay, I saw those buses coming in where during one of the entrances when we were doing the whole walk around the place in the morning.
It cost $80. It would have been $80. I don't know if it's $80 a person. That would have been, I guess, too much.
Yeah, but that's kind of steep, $80 per person. But yeah, no, that it probably is $80 a person.
Well, and then all of a sudden now you've dropped to, a lot of money right there. All right, let's bring on the Patreon co-hosts. They're all down there. Sue Morris, welcome to the show.
Yo,
and how are you?
WFO, what's happening?
Oh, and we got Bobby Graham. Welcome to the show. There he is, Bobby Graham. And Troy in the Great Northwest. Welcome to the show with his little one.
Baby.
Hello.
Hey, you got an assistant.
He's got an assistant.
I love it.
What is my dad doing? What is this all about?
What a good-looking baby, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Mom.
She's a Patreon as well.
Excellent. Nice. Her allowance is getting sent over to the Formula One headquarters here in Miami. And we're just debriefing, guys. We haven't talked any NASCAR. That'll be kicked back a little bit later on in the show. It's all a great debrief session, except for the fact that, Sue, didn't you go racing this weekend? How did it go?
Oh, you know what? We took the red car out, took the 68 out, and took her from Super Street back into bracket trim. We actually had a friend of ours give us some advice, make a little change of the chassis, and man, it liked it. So went a couple rounds, got bit by the red light again. This time it was Dave, not me though. So, but we were having fun. The 68 is just running good, and can't wait for the next race. So it was a quick one. But we went back to Greer. It was great seeing everybody out at Greer. It was a big crowd this weekend.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And of course, NHRA being Richmond, Virginia, the weather not looking so great.
Yeah, you won't see us. We had to make the decision. That weather just is, it's a tough call, but
very tough call.
Hey, we will be watching you on NHRA TV and cheering along all of our friends who are still making the trip. So it's all good. It's all good.
Let's hope we get it in. It's as simple as that. If we get it in, it's going to be great. And as you guys can all imagine, everybody that listens to the show on a regular basis, people who genuinely like the show, as opposed to like maybe we could pick up a couple of people on the Miami Grand Prix hashtag or Formula One hashtag that check the show. But people are, have been listening to the show for over 10 years, in some cases and longer. And, like the takes and all, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about this Grand Prix, showing some pictures, getting everybody in on it. Obviously, Joey Logano and William Byron got into it at the end of Darlington. We can talk about that in Sports Collision. But we're going to be heavy Formula One. We haven't even talked, Max Verstappen won the race from qualified third. He was able to pass Sainz on lap 1 and then got around Charles Leclerc for the win. It kind of makes sense that the defending champ is going to come to a new venue and impose his will. And he did. Max was good. Super hot, though. I found the race to be exciting. There was some passing around, but I know it will be better. But we also have some photos. So I figured right here at the relative start of the show, especially since this could end up on YouTube, I'm just going to cycle through them. And Giovanni, feel free to comment. You guys, if you have questions, ask questions, because we only know what we think. Who knows what you want to know about? So starting off,
I would say even there, it seemed like passing was at a premium, except, Sainz got passed. You say in the first lap, in the first corner. How about that? Going into, he didn't even get to the first corner without Max just pantsing him.
He was on the dirty side of the grid, they say.
Yes, look, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. He couldn't make it to turn 1. All right.
He could have held him back like half a lap. Then maybe the whole result is different.
It would have been nice even a couple of laps. How about that? Or if, maybe he has a really hard time getting by Carlos, maybe it's not so easy to get by Chucky. But anyhow.
Let's not get negative. Let's not make it negative. We saw
not saying
podium, two Ferraris on the podium.
You are correct. Second and third, 2 podiums, maintain the constructors. Charles still has the championship driver's lead. And it was an overall great day for Ferrari. But
yes,
you know what? Passing was at a premium. The drivers, while, they like to whine and complain, they have a point. There was only one groove. If you got outside the groove, it was, slick marbles or in the wall, or, you basically lost control. And, new track, they will figure that out. They will either get better asphalt or whatever it is they're going to do. They're going to fix that chicane. They'll do something over there.
They will.
I guarantee you that they'll put the engineers on it. They'll talk to the drivers and work and fix that corner out. And whatever else will get settled, and it'll become a better race. But, it really was for the spectacle. I've read a few different places where it was called, and I even mentioned it, I don't know, in one of the 18,000 pre-race shows that we did, the Super Bowl of Formula One. And it really was like that. It was the event with the most suites ever. They were the most expensive, the biggest and baddest of I guess guest services and all kinds of stuff going on. The celebrities hanging out at the Ferrari World, at Red Bull's place. Saw Lindsey Vonn doing pieces with Max Verstappen.
Okay, so let's go forward, okay, because there are some negatives. And the television broadcast on Sky Sports was really one. It was, Martin Brundle should not be allowed to do the grid walk ever again. I think he should be banned from doing the grid walk. Gio, did you see that? That was an epic fail.
He thought was Patrick Mahomes. Is that part? Or
how about he's looking for a celebrity and Dwayne Wade is right next to him? Like,
I know, and that's it. He doesn't recognize him.
Where's Giovanni? Where is he? Oh, he's right next to you. Oh, yeah. An NBA Hall of Famer, Dwayne Wade. Future, if not already. I don't know that situation.
It hasn't been 5 years.
Has it been 5 years? About to be 5 years anyway. He's about to go into the Hall of Fame very soon.
Or maybe he goes in this year. Let's see.
And he's Mr. Miami. That's another thing. Like, talk about local celebrities. And instead, Brundle is talking about Megan Thee Stallion and the last epic fail that he had. And it was terrible. And the grid. And, oh, look at all these people. I don't know why they're all interested in our sport. Like, why are they bothering us? Oh, my God, there's all these people here that are bothering us on our normal grid when we can try to get ready for the race. You can't even find a race car driver around here. There's so many interested people in the stuff that we're doing in the city of Miami. And, oh, man, they had fake water. Like, it was a total miss.
They needed Will Buxton to be doing it.
They needed Will Buxton to be doing it. Everybody is saying that. Where the hell is Will Buxton? Sky Sports, What are you doing? Is he contracted to Drive to Survive and you can't get him or what? But Brundle was terrible, man. Enough. And all the jokes about the happy hour and the not happy hour, but the early bird and all that old nonsense Florida stuff. That's just dumb. You totally missed it. You got a bunch of people that are interested in what you're doing and you insult them. Idiots. Sorry for the strong opinion. But I do like Sue's Dale Earnhardt shirt. Someone was asking, Sue, why no Formula One gear? I like the cross-promoting, Sue. We got to give the NASCAR people. We still love NASCAR. I still love NASCAR. All these big events that have happened at Homestead Miami Speedway over all these years, like comparing them to this and the budget and the fact that they had to do it every single year. We had great times there at that race. And Homestead still does a great thing. And they've got the Dixie Vodka 400 coming up. And we're going to try to be a part of that as well. But this was just a different element. Let's look at some photos, Giovanni. We brought the horns, Giovanni. The horns were a big part of it. And I feel like they were well received. The people in our area did not try to throw us over the balcony, and they did not try to take them from us and throw them away.
Well, that lady 2 rows in front of you wearing the Ferrari shirt, she was kind of bitter. She kept looking back. And
is that true? I didn't even know. I really didn't.
One time.
Really? That's great.
I shook the horn at her face when she gave me a look like to stop. I'm like, yeah, right. Get out of here.
She's at an F1 race. What is she thinking? That's normal.
She's wearing a Ferrari shirt. I mean, she shouldn't have had a problem with it. I don't understand what,
So what's the point of the horn, right? Like the point of the horn is to communicate with other fans and even more importantly, your driver. When Charles Leclerc is talking about something, we give the horn. He knows we're out there. He knows we're out there thinking about what he's saying and responding to it. Yeah, you can't hear you. Sorry, he can't hear this from a half a mile away. You need a little bit more. And we did it.
It's acknowledgement. It's like a Kruger.
That's exactly what it's like. All right, Troy's back now, guys. Troy's back. All right, so let's just randomly, because they did not post in the order.
What did you do with the baby, Troy?
Yeah,
where'd the baby go, Troy?
Where's the baby? I need evidence that the baby's still alive, Troy.
The baby is fine. The baby's fine. She's in her plaything that she loves so much.
The plaything that she loves.
In the baby jail?
Yeah.
No, she's normal. She might come rolling in here any minute. You can cruise all around the house in it. It's like a little R2-D2 in this thing. She can go everywhere. It's great.
That's cool. That's cool. It's daytime still where Troy is. That's great. He's got his camera in the background. Okay. I found my seats to be fantastic. If I get the opportunity to renew the seats tomorrow, I would renew the exact seats because we had a perfect view of the largest television screen in the house and also the podium. So we, our driving, like what we got to see going around the track was limited. We saw cars going from left to right on a straight. But we saw everything else. Giovanni, what do you think of that?
I don't know. I think I would consider trying to see, recollect what might have been a better seating option in terms of viewing more race, because I'm pretty sure that no matter where it was, we went to almost all those grandstands and the view was very limited from most of them. And I guess the best view is watching the TV screen, so to be honest, I think when it comes to viewing the race, the best view is sitting at home in the comforts of your home where you can see where they show you, what's going on in the whole race and you're able to watch stuff. But in person, it's more for, the atmosphere and everything. And at least this kind of track, I don't think there's any grandstand or anything high enough that it's going to allow you to see too much of the track. And so maybe,
was that screen
like that, but more covered, maybe a covered area because it was,
Okay, we talked about having it at night. Go ahead, Troy.
Well, I just wondered, was that screen a simulcast of the Sky broadcast, or was it like?
No, I think
that
was
the ESPN feed.
You guys had it made.
The world feed of Formula One TV feed is what it was. It wasn't Sky Sports. It was their own broadcast, Formula One TV, which I guess is what you get if you subscribe to the Formula One app TV deal. But it's all the same cut. It's the same line cut. And those guys call it off the line cut. And they all do their own thing. So what we saw on the screen was what everybody saw, but with slightly different audio. Like the radio calls coming on, we heard those. The thing about watching a street course race, you think about IndyCar, St. Petersburg, Geo. There's nowhere that you're going to be on a street course race. Indianapolis, Formula One, there's nowhere you're going to be at a street course or road course race where you really feel like you were enveloped in the race like you can on an oval, because there's things that are out of your sight. You need to have televisions. And to me, having the giant TV right in front of me gave me my TV ability to keep up with everything that was happening and also to see what was going on. That's our view over the angle. Cars going by. And there's the podium celebration. You can see, on the screen and then slightly below the screen, the spider webs of the actual podium. And people were down there hanging out. I don't know. I found it to be pretty great.
We were right by where Lando wrecked.
I actually have a photo right over this guy in the McLaren shirts hat. There's a bridge that says Salesforce or something, the Salesforce bridge. That's exactly right where Lando crashed. One thing we did not do was go in those gondolas that are flying over because we were afraid that they were hot inside. Maybe they were air conditioned though, Gio.
I had no desire to go in there.
Yeah. Yeah. I would like to have seen the track, but we did not. It just felt like there would be a line. But I do have the desire to go in there, but maybe next year, assuming there it is. Obviously, as it's crunch time, we're getting ready for the win.
Joe was draped in a Ferrari flag.
Yeah, I was draped in a Ferrari flag.
He was a big hit. Everybody was trying to take pictures behind him with the flag as the background.
One of the negatives when it was over.
I should have been charged. I should have charged for that, man. Damn.
You should have done a bunch of stuff. You should have taken a picture or two. I don't think you took any pictures.
I got a few, but
Yeah, no. WFO. We're going to Formula One, Gio. Yeah. Nah. DJs.
He knew you were all over it, Joe. He knew you were
lots
all over
of
it.
that was
DJs,
the DJ
guys.
on top of the Ferrari.
DJ on top of the Ferrari, right? Like we didn't know how to handle this. I felt like it was okay. I wasn't sure if the car was real.
I
but
told him I did not think it was okay at all.
Yeah, there's a DJ in the back. A lot of DJs worked this weekend. There's a lot of DJs in Miami. There were a lot of DJs working this weekend.
It was a total entertainment thing. I mean, all those guys, those reggaeton guys I've never heard of, and all kind. Bad Bunny was there.
Bad Bunny, he's big. What was more red, the Ferrari shirt or the Ferrari face?
Oh, my face is more red than the shirt. It's like a deeper shade of red.
The deeper shade. It was pretty amazing. Just a lot of pretty girls. There was a lot of young, attractive people. The Miami came out in force.
The mermaids were out, as someone asked, but I would definitely say the manatees were out too. Don't fool yourselves. It's not only mermaids down here.
That last one, Joe, was a good shot. Well, the one before that one's all right too. That
was good.
That's solid right there, buddy.
Portrait mode, Troy. Man, like it's amazing. You just click a couple things and you get a good one like that. Portrait mode. They had dancers and stuff doing,
painted naked ladies,
painted naked ladies dancing. Like this is something.
In a bar area. This is a bar where and this is by the tables and the scenery of the bar of one of the many bars.
Yes, countless bars. Over, under. Okay, not just over. Give me a guess. How many bars were there, Gio?
100.
I would go over. I would say there was more than 100 bars, but that's
okay. Well, I guess I wouldn't describe them all as bar, but there were definitely over 100 locations where you could get alcoholic beverages. Not just a bar, but like a little. Even if it was just a person selling beers and scotch and those hard liquor or hard seltzer, whatever it was, high noons.
The high noons were everywhere
because everybody was hawking those things.
The folks at Hendrick's Gym had this amazing 3-story, like actors doing a thing. It was crazy. And then there's the marina.
Oh man, the marina was a hit. We went, we took a dip in the marina ourselves.
We did. Look at that. Like that looks like it could be real. Like, I don't know why the marina got.
It does look so real.
The marina got kind of crapped on but at the same time,
It
people
became a
walked
hit,
away.
man.
It was totally a unique experience. Look at that. Like, where am I? Am I at a Formula One race, or am I over in Fort Lauderdale in the water?
I thought it was one of the coolest things that I kept seeing on TV as they were putting it together, and it looked real. I mean, you knew it wasn't because they told you it wasn't, but it looked pretty real in a lot of the different shots. It was pretty sweet.
And those people who are up there lounging on the boats, right? Like, someone complained to me, and it's amazing the things that people will say in a moment of negativity. And they don't have to like what I like, but it's like, oh, those people in those boats watching the race, like, are they really fans?
Are you just jealous? Come on, give it a break.
Well,
What
they
are we
had to
bitching
watch.
about?
They weren't going anywhere.
You're at an F1 race. Take it all in. Haven't you watched Monaco?
Well, exactly. Are they really fans? Like, does it really matter? I don't know. But I thought,
I guarantee you a good half of, maybe not half, but there was a lot of people there that didn't know anything about what was going on. They were there for the spectacle of the event.
But there were a lot of people that were knowledgeable, passionate Formula One fans too. Like, that kind of surprised me also. I was wondering what the ratio would be. Like, South Florida influencer doesn't really know what this is, going to go to it, and people who are interested, and there were a lot of Red Bull fans, put it that way. Like, Max Verstappen travels well.
Goodness.
There were Netherlands.
What else? They had a lot of stuff for sale that was, they had the dry fit shirts. They had
who's
all
keeping
kinds
track
of stuff.
Who's keeping track of the epic fails? Because they're, ingress and egress were a couple. Ferrari gear sold out Friday morning. Mrs. Giovanni got that shirt on Friday morning when we got there, like, took a flyer and got one, and they were all gone by Friday afternoon. We couldn't find them. Maybe they'll have more tomorrow. I went back on Sunday race day. We walked the entire course, which was long, guys. It was tough. We walked the entire course, and we stopped at every single store looking for those button-down team shirts. Unavailable. Okay, I'll settle for the, get Gray's. Gray got one. It's a miracle. Look at that. Oh, my gosh. This thing is incredible. Somebody had returned it. It was Gray's perfect size, and it fit him. Anyway.
It was behind a counter.
I was ready to settle for the polo, like, this, right? No. Okay, I'll settle for a T-shirt. No, nothing. They had nothing. They left a lot of money on the table. And Red Bull is outdoing Ferrari when it comes to the gear.
Even McLaren. McLaren, that orange gear and hats and their shirts were everybody was wearing a Ricardo or a Baby Lando shirt all over. Well, you saw the guys right next to us, and there was a guy two seats next to him wearing the Lando shirt, like right over Joe's left shoulder, right there behind him, his neck. But lots of McLaren stuff, even Mercedes. Everybody was very well represented. All the big teams.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of spots like this. I've had a couple of conversations with some people at the NHRA today, and just like,
all right, just for reference, the thing on the left is like a store that has a bar and selling stuff inside. It's air conditioned, and then the little kind of tent area looking, that's a bar. That's just all they do there to serve alcohol.
And there's also a DJ.
and DJ, yes. And there's tables and a DJ, and they serve alcohol and sold some food under there.
Okay. But for me, like, I'm trying to plus up every event I go to, and I'm thinking about walking on this grass, this fake grass. Like, you can rent that grass, but all of a sudden you put fake grass down in your driveway and it becomes a premium experience. Now it's like, look at this, man. I got fake grass that I'm on. Whereas if it was just plain asphalt, that would not have been a premium experience. And apparently it's just that simple. Get yourself some fake grass. The temperature goes down by enough X degrees, but it makes a difference.
Oh, by the way, that beach area has fake sand. It's like a carpet that's like a beige color, and it's really cushiony, so it kind of feels like sand, but it's fake sand too.
There you go,
And so
Gio.
as
A
you
better
see, yeah,
shot.
there's that fake grass is everywhere.
The
And so it
shelter.
does make the experience feel, very high class and she, that's for sure.
And let's put some ferns on the ground too. Like you want to make something look cool? Let's get some
Yes,
ferns.
yes, all kinds
Good
of
ferns. Good ferns,
landscaping everywhere. Look,
more
they brought in
ferns.
all kinds of fake. I don't know. It's not fake. It's real landscaping, but obviously it doesn't grow there. So it's got to be potted and it's going to be taken away and put back somewhere wherever the hell it came from. But there was more palm trees there than like at a nursery.
They rent the ferns. I can't get the ferns to stop growing here at my house. And there's thousands of ferns. You get some fake grass and ferns. That's the secret to success. Troy says speaks to a larger issue that F1 will have in the United States, which is what?
You were talking about Brundle, and I think, it's hard to critique the race, right? It was the first one. I do think American fans of racing are going to need some more overtaking, right? Which is a common F1 thing anyway, but American fans, it's such a different demographic. We don't appreciate the manufacturers the way the international community does. And it's just different here. But I also think, that grid walk just highlighted the disconnect, right? It's like you have so many people just there for the party. And you have some people there for the race and the cars. And like, how do you balance all that out to keep people invested and excited, right? Year one's easy. What's year 6 going to be like when someone's the celebrity has been to 5 of them? And I just wonder how they'll approach that going forward, because I think it's something they'll have to tackle over time to
I don't know about that down here, man. I think it's going to be even harder and harder and more exclusive as it goes by, because if there's anything this town loves, it's the Schmidt Show, buddy.
Yeah,
right?
well, maybe
the bigger the Schmidt Show, the more they love it, and this is just going to start bringing in the people that really aren't as interested in the racing. And for Formula One, while in general, yeah, that's not the fan they want to necessarily attract. For a once-a-year event, they want this to be the biggest party and the biggest event in town. The race could be secondary to
look at Monaco,
to everything else around it.
Monaco's been going pretty good for a while.
I really don't know that that's going to be an issue.
But unlike Monaco, where you can't do anything about it, I think they can do some things about it, right? Like they already said, change the DRS detection zones to corner entry as opposed to corner exit, which would give more time to be on DRS and have a more opportunity to be effective. Plus, it's the first year, and so they got to tune up that whole turn 14 complex where they're going up the hill and they're hitting they're going to smooth that out. They're going to look at
the turnpike area,
which I think is the most amazing thing I've seen. That's where I've been showing you guys these photos. Like, can you believe the track's coming out here? And sure enough, the track was out here. They can tune all those things up. Is Formula One ever going to have last year we did have multiple battles for the lead in the final racing. So it's possible. Will it happen at that track? I don't know. That's the thing. It is tight. It is. So what in the world is DRS? Says Derek. Drag reduction system. They push a button and they open up a flap in the wing because they don't need all the downforce at that moment, and it makes the cars 12 to 15 mile per hour faster. Monica loves your shirt, Gio.
All right.
There you go. Yeah, that's cool. It was very interesting. I wish I could have
uploaded a bunch of meals, but that's all right.
A bunch of meals. Very young crowd, very fun crowd. And that's it. I got so many more photographs, but I couldn't get them up. You know what I can't do is I love my iPhone, guys. Getting photos from my iPhone to something else. Videos from my iPhone to something else. You know what everybody tells me? The solution?
Have to have an Apple device.
Yes.
Get a Mac. Yeah,
get an iPad.
Mac. Yeah, get a Mac.
Or an iPad or something, yeah.
Or an iPad.
But I don't know if the iPad is going to... How do I get them off the iPad then? And
I know that problem,
and
I discovered that at work. I just use my work Mac and because to download the pictures, because they come out in the order and in everything, and it's the phone talks to the computer because they're the same.
I think I'm going to have to get a Mac, which is terrible because I've been fighting it all these years. Matt says just like the improvements at Albert Park in Melbourne. And exactly, they'll make some improvements. Now, the contract is for 10 years, so we have 9 more to go. Will they extend beyond that? or will they move on to something else? Unknown. But Liberty Media, who has taken this sport and done the whole Drive to Survive and all of these things.
Oh, by the way, 2 more years.
2 more years of Drive to
seasons.
Survive.
2 more
All right,
seasons already locked in.
So let's
5
give the
and 6.
results. Let's give the results. Max Verstappen wins the race. Charles Leclerc second. Carlos Sainz third. I was correct in my podium on NHRA Talks F1 with Michael Heiner. I nailed it. I said it was going to be Verstappen, Leclerc, and Sainz. If you let me box it, okay? If I boxed trifecta box,
You were talking about a Ferrari one too. The whole,
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
I
Sorry,
said
one, too.
all of a sudden he mentioned Max first, but
no,
we'll let you
boxed.
slide.
I boxed the bet. It's a trifecta. I had Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz, but I would have boxed it if we were actually betting, in which case it doesn't matter. Sergio Perez third. I felt really great that Sainz held him off. That was big for me, that you had 2 Ferraris on the podium as opposed to 2 Red Bull. George Russell was 5th, got those tires late. That late safety car and virtual safety car kind of changed things up. I was hoping maybe we would catch a break there. Didn't quite work out. Hamilton, who got into Alonso, or vice versa, to be more specific, at the start, for him to get 6th. Everyone's attacking Lewis. But I don't know. I think that's a pretty good run. Bottas 7th. Ocon, who crashed in free practice 3, 8th. Albon in the Williams 9th. And rounding out the top 10 was Lance Stroll. Alonso, Tsunoda, Ricardo, Latifi, Mick Schumacher, Kevin Magnussen. Mick Schumacher was having a great run until he got into Vettel. Like, that was just a tremendous mistake. Like, what the heck happened there, Mick? Big mistake, man. You were about to maybe get a point. The Haas's were running pretty well, and then it all went south. Pierre Gasly, Lando Norris, and Zhou Guanyu rounding out the field of the Crypto.com Formula One Grand Prix of Miami. Any final thoughts, any final questions, anything anybody wanted to put out on the table before we move beyond Formula One and this incredible event that you guys weren't on, but we both agree, Gio and I, that this is the most significant event in the history of Miami?
How much more would you pay to go again?
More.
It's not going to get cheaper.
He'll find out next year.
Honest, I'm going to try and use my media abilities to score entrances from now on. Not because of anything, but simply because it's better that way. If it's free, it's for me. Why pay for something that I could get for free?
Exactly, but you won't be able to bring your family, which is part of it. And I wanted to go
witness the inaugural event spectacle, and the viewing pleasure is much better from home.
It's really easy to say when you didn't do anything to make this thing happen to begin with. I had to make a real big decision here, and I was also kind of humbled because a good friend of mine got to introduce Lewis Hamilton at the event. And now it's Lewis Hamilton. And it's like, what, you did that? Yeah, I applied to an ad on Craigslist or something like that. Not quite. But there were local media opportunities, a lot of them. And now we took in the event. We've experienced it. Do we try to work? Do we try to make a little money? Do we try to be a part of it? Like, people are like, yeah, man, the gigs. There's so many gigs for this thing. Craigslist. Being in the garage, being part of the TV reporting, all the stuff, all the local media coverage. We didn't do any of that. We got a pure event this first time, which, by the way, I wanted to do it, just like I did the 1999 Pennzoil 400 at Homestead Miami Speedway. What, the regular fan experience? No, man, I disagree with what you're saying. If everybody thought that way, there would be no sporting events. There has to be people that are willing to pay, man. Just like these people on Nitro the other day telling me that NHRA should lower the ticket cost and make it free and give away free tickets and make everything free. No, man, you need people that are willing to pay to make something. And so, but next time.
No, it should never be free, but,
include me
amongst the people that are there to work.
Let's say I exhaust all of my options and nothing comes through, right? And I can't get a credential and I can't get anything. Put it this way, no matter what, if afforded the opportunity to renew my tickets, as I have them, I will renew them. And they will become something like Packer seats for me, if that makes sense. Only because I know I will be able to sell them no matter what. And that's why I'm wondering if they will even give me the opportunity to renew my seats, or whether it's going to be like jungle style next year and you just everybody crapshoot again. I was able to navigate the crapshoot this time. Will I be able to navigate it again? Or are they going to give the people who got in last year and bought tickets a renewal chance? Which I think
will
is
more than likely get a renewal priority. And then, they'll once again, for the people that don't renew, they'll put out those, as that special pre-sale. And then, there'll never be anything available for the regular sale except secondary market like this. And of course, the original campus pass was available on the regular market for a long time before they started putting them at between $5,000 to $1,000, between $500 to $1,000 each day.
So that campus pass, $500. That's what it was on Sunday. I don't know, man. I guess it's worth it. If you're going to go one day and you're going to go one time, $500, plus you're not getting out of there without spending an additional $200. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Big TV. If you got the campus pass, you can see the big TV in the podium.
There's TVs everywhere. So if you're just constantly moving and walking and doing and checking out different corners, we sat in our seats. Like, that's the thing. Like, we made a lap and then we went to our seats and I watched the whole race. I did not move from flag to flag. I watched the race. Gio and the Gray went down, got some ice cream, and Mrs. Gio went and got a beverage. And me, I was locked in on the race the whole time. That's not how I normally do it at road and street courses, honestly. Normally, I like to be moving. That's not how I do it at a baseball game. We get tickets for a baseball game. It's like, all right, we sat in them for an inning or two. Let's move. So I think the campus pass, one-day campus pass, race only, I think that will be worthwhile. They'll sell a lot of them. Anyway, so Monica goes, so what's a suite going for? Monica is offering to put the down payment on the WFO suite for 2023. They were what, Gio? $5,000 down payment?
$5,000 was the down payment, yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was the down payment.
They sold 5,000 of them in 24-hour span when they were released. I received an email about it, and I just thought for, fun and laughter, I followed the link and I clicked all the way. Yeah, sure, sweet, boom. All right, let's see what they wouldn't even give you the price. And I'm like, all right, so just all right, $5,000. I'm like, oh, deposit. And I thought, $5,000 for a suite. I mean, that's not terrible. And they're, deposit. I was like,
okay, you guys want to hear, let's everybody out there listening on WFO.
I believe that the cheapest one I read later on was 20 to 25,000 were the cheapest. So the 5,000 was about 25% deposit, and I think some went for as much as, gosh, I don't even want to. I heard 50,000, but I can't believe that. But although some of those places, you can ask Joe, man, they were so it was amazing what was going on in there.
It was. So Matt says the cheapest is $1,000 per person per day at Melbourne, Australia, and those are the Australians. Monica goes, so I guess I skip a year of tuition for all of us. Yeah, exactly. The kid, his life experience, life experience. Olsen's Trailblazers, did you guys stand all race? When I've been to Daytona, they stand all race. No, our people would stand up for a pass or something and then sit right back down. And everybody would sit. And then when something started to happen, they would get up and then they would sit back down. Interesting. There's an article that Gio sent. I think it's worthwhile. I'm going to read it. From Yahoo Finance, since we're all talking about the amazement of Formula One, by Pras Subramanian. It was a thrilling end to the inaugural from Yahoo Finance. This is Giovanni getting financial with us. And let me move it aside here so that you can see. But this is pretty interesting about the financial juice of Formula One. Title, Formula One Miami race, a big boon for the sport and big brands. It was a thrilling end to the inaugural Miami Grand Prix in which Red Bull F1 driver Max Verstappen and champ took the win despite a Ferrari race as in it puts their stock logo next to every time a stock is mentioned. Lockout in the first row of the grid after qualifying. After 5 rounds of the 2022 season, Ferrari driver Charles Leclerc still leads the championship over Verstappen, but that lead has shrunk to only 19 points. While it was a win for Verstappen and Red Bull, the Miami Grand Prix was also a big win for Formula One, whose symbol is FWONK. And its various teams and sponsors, several of which are multinational, publicly traded companies keen to be associated with the growing F1 audience in the United States. Recent ratings bear this out and justify F1 majority owner Liberty Media's investment and strategy for U.S. growth. ESPN, which owns the rights to F1 in the U.S. market, has seen its F1 viewership surge. With the 2021 season, the most watch in the U.S. thus far through 2022, the F1 ratings are 1.1 million per race, a 22% jump over the same period last year. Plus, the Netflix effect. The much discussed Netflix effect following the release of Drive to Survive F1 docuseries has clearly given the sport a boost in the United States, with the show coinciding with the rising F1 viewership and interest. And with F1 and Miami getting lots of coverage ahead of the race, Netflix recently announced its renewed Drive to Survive for an additional 2 more seasons. And I'll pause there and say, I believe they have to do this forever now. I think Drive to Survive has to be part of the coverage of the sport going on forever. I mean, they can choose to not have Netflix do it, but someone is going to pay to have that. Like, maybe it won't be Netflix anymore. Maybe it'll be Amazon Prime, and we'll hear Drive to Survive move to another service. But once you've had this kind of access, to lose it is fundamentally going to change the sport. I'll give you a perfect example. Everybody knows that I've been watching Drive to Survive and Toto Wolff, right? So the other day during qualifying, I'm kind of watching because I was home for qualifying because I sold my Saturday tickets to justify this whole adventure. For those that, wonder, no, man, I didn't just put all this money out. I recouped some of it by selling my qualifying tickets. And I'm watching qualifying at home, and there's Toto Wolff, and he's like this. And everything that I had learned about him through Drive to Survive rushed through my mind. Like, I knew the person. I knew him. I knew those guys. I knew what they thought. I knew who they fired. I knew who they hired. I knew their motivation. And it just changes everything for you. And I don't think you're going to be able to get rid of that. I think they're going to have to continue that. And I say, forever is what I say. That's my opinion. We'll see if it turns out to be the case. Welcome, Miami. Miami is now the second U.S. race to join the F1 calendar following the current GP in Austin, Texas. It's long overdue, as half of the motorsports market in the world is here, says Laurent Rossi, CEO of Alpine, RNO.PA. Says about the addition of Miami to the schedule during an interview with Yahoo Finance, it's the reason why F1 gets stronger, again, because of the Netflix. And Netflix obviously had a big year in terms of viewership. So it's only normal when you think about the economic weight of the U.S. that having more than just one Grand Prix makes sense. Obviously, Vegas is coming up. Alpine's rival on and off the track, Aston Martin, gives the stock symbol, agrees with the importance of the U.S. market and Miami's special place. This is a city that is alive. It's alive with design. It's alive with creativity, says Merrick Reichman, Aston Martin's creative chief officer, in an interview for the team's hospitality center at the race. And at that point, WFO, a perfect example of Miami being alive with design and creativity. America is vitally important. Miami within that is huge. If you then take into consideration next year, America will have 3 races, Austin, Miami, Las Vegas, as a marketing platform, that the Netflix effect, which has brought consumers into this. They're giving all the credit to Netflix and the show, which I agree. With the U.S. being Aston Martin's #1 market, it's not surprising that brand was happy to see another race in the United States. Rivals McLaren and Ferrari also count the United States as their top markets. So why do I come to Miami? Reichman rhetorically asked, because last night at the Aston DBX 707 reveal, there were at least 200 customers. We sell just over 6,000 cars a year. If I can meet 200 customers at every race weekend throughout the world, 23 times 200 is pretty close to over 50% of our entire customer base. And that's the point. And that's why I'm reading the article, for people to think about it like that. And that is that FaceTime and excuse me. And it is that FaceTime at glitzy tracks like Miami that lead to more customer goodwill and sales. I've never seen a paddock club this big with 300 Aston Martin guests. Aston Martin U.S. President Adam Chamberlain said on race day, Miami and Formula One together, people want to be at the race. One of our customers literally ordered another car last night and said, you guys have done such a great job. I feel like I need to buy another car. And that's what you want. Yeah, that's what you want. Giovanni, he got a t-shirt. Costello over here, look at me. Awesome aluminum cup that I got with the logo. This is my souvenir that I walked out of there with. This other dude, he bought an Aston Martin to associate with the race because why wouldn't you? Around 13 years ago, following the great financial crisis, teams like BMW, Honda, and Toyota exited the series, as did numerous sponsors. The Braun F1 car, which won in the championship in 2009, we've been talking Formula One heavy on WFO since long before then, started this the year with an all-white car and nary a sponsor on its livery. Remember that, Gio?
Sure do.
And that team is who right now?
Jenson Button. That's Mercedes now.
And that's Mercedes right now. As popularity of the sport rose, it was only a matter of time before big global brands came knocking on the door to not only enter the sport, but to also sponsor the 10 teams that make up the F1 championship, like Rich Energy. All right, bad example.
Oh, man.
Cut to 2022, in which tech giant Oracle just inked a 5-year, $500 million deal to be the title sponsor of Red Bull F1, a deal considered to be the largest sponsorship in Formula One history. Think about that, guys. What is it? I got to get it right.
5-year, 500 mil.
So I'm not a genius. $100 million a year sponsorship. F1 is the fastest growing sport that we're seeing in terms of an excitement here and around the world for technology companies. Oracle, stock symbol, CMO Ariel Kelman said during a media call, it's just such a perfect fit because it's the most amazing high-tech sport, the most data-driven sport. So it just provides an amazing showcase for all the amazing technology. Among the big tech names with sponsorship deals in the sport include Dell, Alphabet's Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Cisco, and AMD. Yahoo's Finance, right. And that Kaspersky that's on board with Ferrari that they should dump. Yahoo's finance parent, Yahoo's Finance's parent, Yahoo, is also a sponsor with the Alpine F1 team. But it's not just big eyeballs and big tech companies covet. It's the association with data-driven win-at-all-cost sport that leverages technology and R&D to the maximum in order to extract performance from every inch of the car. Take, for example, data and connectivity. F1 teams rely on their data partners and sponsors to not only help the race team, but also the road car business as well. The connectivity of these cars is incredible. If the rules allowed, these cars could probably drive themselves around because they can adjust via telemetry. Aston's Reichman said about the reams of data collected from the race cars. But it's when you then consider the amount of data you're collecting, how do we transfer that knowledge? And what do we do in our road cars, which are all going to be connected in the future with electrification? It's a very, very important factor. It's a perfect example of, what you're doing on the racetrack, how it affects cars you build, except we're not just making power, we're transferring data. Interesting. Besides the natural attraction of the sport to tech companies, the more traditional companies like Walmart, UPS, Unilever, Stanley Black & Decker, and Monster Beverage have also taken interest. Yeah, Monster should have had Brittany down there doing a promo. With the F1's global audience to be around 70 million viewers every race weekend, the reach of the sport allows these large brands is unlikely matched anywhere in sporting world on a week-to-week basis, especially for brands that sign on with top teams, which tend to garner more airtime during the race weekend coverage. F1 teams famously keep their rate card, or what they charge for the real estate on their cars, close to the vest. But it is believed that the tiniest portion of a car for a logo could go for a couple of $100,000 to upwards of tens of millions for locations on side pods, rear wings, or center air intake. And just seeing the logo on a car or screen can actually translate into tangible interest. Take, for example, Aston Martin's sponsorship of the safety car and medical car, a deal that uses Aston vehicles for half of the races and Mercedes for the other half. I think that is very interesting. And on that note, what I'm going to do is, in the spirit of it, I'm going to put the WFO logo up on the screen. That's right, WFO, guys. You know, I don't put that logo up because we got logos all around. But right now, since we got 5 on the screen, logo time. Subscribe.
It's going down to 4. I got to roll, y'all. WFO.
Later, Troy.
WFO, Troy.
Appreciate you, brother. There he goes. Troy weighing in. The article drove him away. That's okay. We're almost done. We have our pace car and medical car on the circuit. We see 40% uplift in internet inquiries on that weekend. How about that? Just a safety car going around. Says Aston's U.S. President Chamberlain. It's a huge uplift, and we absolutely see that translate into customer interest. Leave it to the data-hungry and crafty F1 teams to figure out how to quantify something as staid as the F1 medical car can be to a team's bottom line. And there you go. Article is over. Biggest business in the world, man. That's it. Dragster Jeff says, see you later. Bug Barn. Let's not get carried away, Jeff. A small room with their setups. No one ever gets hurt again. I don't know. No, we got to get the cars out there. We got to have them drive. Nobody wants to see cars driving themselves. I mean, I do, but I would not consider it a big, fun race. Like, I'd like to see them, but remember that Robo Race? Everybody remember Robo Race? I reached out to those dudes at Robo Race with a couple of really good emails. Hey, we want to know about Robo Race. No response. They didn't even bother to get back to me. Robo Race. And obviously.
Screw you, Joe.
Right. Screw you, WFO Joe. That's it. All right. So there it is. Final thoughts on Formula One. It was the greatest event in the history of South Florida and bigger than the Super Bowl. But let's move on. Any final thoughts, Sue, Bobby Graham? Anything you guys wanted to add before we talk a little Joey Logano roughing up Lord Byron? Bobby's saying something, but he's on mute. Sue, what about you?
Well, I thought it was great. You know, one of the highlights early in FP2 is not necessarily a highlight, but it was just coincidental. They were interviewing Mario Andretti. They just pulled him up to interview him, and again, it's during FP2. And isn't it right when Carlos wrecks? It was like, oh. And you could just see Mario was like, oh, poor Carlos. You know, he felt so bad for him, and I mean, didn't hurt him, but yeah, it was just as he wrecked. They were just bringing him on and getting ready to start talking to him.
And see, this is perfect. This is perfect, Sue, and thank you for bringing up that. And this is why, like, I love having you guys here to spark things that I'm thinking about that are in here. Another Martin Brundle attack, man. This guy has got Zach Brown and Mario Andretti, and he goes up and talks to them. And Mario Andretti, basically God of motorsports, says to him, yeah, you know, I still get the itch and I wish I could scratch it. And I really wish I could get behind the wheel of a modern Formula One car. And Zach Brown goes, really? And he goes, yeah, I would. And Zach goes, let's do it. And right in that moment, that, like, Zach Brown tells Mario, you're going to do it, man. We're going to put you in a McLaren at Austin. I think that's where he said it was going to happen, at Austin. And it was a genuine moment of joy for Mario. And Mario's like, oh my God, really? Really? I'm 82. You're going to put me in a McLaren? And Zach's like, yeah, we're going to do it. And Brundle's like, what is going on? But what about, where's Megan the Stallion? What do you mean? Mario's like, oh my God, I feel like I just won the race. What race? Like today's race. Why? Because he just offered me a freaking ride to McLaren.
He's going over the edge, folks. He's going over. We're gonna bring him back. We're gonna bring him back.
Right?
Remember, deep breaths. Yeah,
He told us ahead of time.
yeah, he did.
That's where I
And
lose it, because that's my job. That's my
no,
job.
that,
That's what I'm supposed to do.
that's what you're
Like,
supposed to do.
you notice
Exactly.
a historic moment happening right in front of your face, a historic moment. Like, dude, icons of
Mario
motors.
Andretti. Come on, pay attention. That's
We're
what you're
about to
supposed
have
to
this.
do.
They're going to do it. Like, at very least, you got to lock it in so that everybody knows.
right.
All right, everybody, on our coverage from Circuit of the Americas later on this year, we're going to be bringing you Mario Andretti from inside that McLaren. And instead, he's like, oh, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Can we find any drivers on this grid, or is it all influencers? Oh, it's all influencers in Miami, apparently. Let's go get the early bird and talk about fake water a little more. You know what I just decided? I just had an epiphany. I did.
I can only
What's
imagine.
alcoholics call a moment of clarity.
Yeah.
I've just decided I'm going to spend the $120 and get Formula One TV and download the apps like I do with NHRA.tv and see everything with that crew that was calling it at the track. I don't need Sky Sports. I can get the line cut. I can cut this Brundle right out of my life just like that. Boom.
Is that who's calling the race on the app?
No, a different crew. We saw the crew, Gio, the crew that was.
Yeah, I don't know that those guys were all that great either, though. I
No,
like
they
I
were-
like the Brits. I like the Sky guys. Maybe
Well,
Brundle, look,
Brundle-
maybe
Brundle's
he
just
should
kind
be
of a
replaced
smack,
on the
you know?
grid
He
walk. I
needs-
don't have a
Replace
I'm
Brundle.
sure.
Hashtag.
But he's all
replace-
right in calling the race. Maybe
all
he shouldn't
right.
be walking the grid
He
walk.
shouldn't be on the grid though.
mistake.
That's out of his.
They were broadcasting the marathon from Australia on my local station. I thought I was going to try to see the F1, but they were doing the marathon.
At least
That's
Matt in
terrible.
Australia is involved in this bit somehow.
Yes.
Right.
Sabotage, Bobby.
They got me again. I just left, went cut grass the rest of the day.
Very.
I think Jeff is spot on. He just said Danica, bad driver, good interviewer. She had her day though, Jeff. I will say, early years she was good.
Danica was amazing on the coverage of all she did. Looking great, by the way. Yeah,
Danica did great. Okay, but what about Willie? What about Willie T. Ribbs though?
I'm not gonna say anything bad about Willie T. Ribbs. Man, he's an older guy.
Yeah. Be nice.
I
to
know
Willie
what they were
T.
trying to do. I get it. I think that he did a poor job. Sorry, Willie. I love you. I'm
No
a big
offense
fan
to
of
the
Willie
older
T.
guys
Ribbs.
out there.
Right. No
I'm
offense
an
to
older
the older
guy,
guy.
Look, that needs some coaching. Needs a little coaching.
Willie did bad interviews when he was racing back in the day. I remember watching him race.
All right, Bobby. Well, there you have it.
Coaching
Well,
is
there you
supposed.
go.
Coaching is supposed to happen before the biggest opportunity to interview someone in your life.
Yes, he needed coaching.
It could have been
I gotta
worse.
tell you, there's a lot of PR fails, going on around. Like, we should just open a PR firm as well. We're failing. we should have a PR
firm, right?
firm
Like, we
going
tell
as
you
well.
what you just did wrong. Well, that was tough. The time he dropped in and I know. And by the way, I would love to get Willie T on the show. Don't get me wrong. Like, I got a billion things I want to ask him about his life, his career, his driving, all of that. But that's the thing. It's the jockocracy moment.
No, but not just that. Come on, that girl that they had doing the local camera, she sucked. She was terrible.
No, that's a gig that I think I can get, and that's what I'm going to try to get that.
No,
gig,
no, you couldn't get that gig, first of all, because that gig belongs to a girl. All right.
No, they had a
you
guy.
have to be a hot, pretty girl
there.
to do that one. You could do the Willie T. Ribbs gig, but you can't be the hot chick interviewing guys. Doing the hot chick interviewing guys gig. Sorry, it just doesn't work out.
Yeah, but they had.
I'm all inclusive and yada yada yada. But you don't fit the hot chick interviewing guys.
Yeah, but I have fit the middle-aged man.
Like I said, you want to do that post-race Willie T. That's all on you. But maybe
you could get the job to coach her.
Maybe
before it.
Maybe. But in the end, the jockocracy with Willie T, like, you should have had somebody different. I'm sorry. Like, Elio Castroneves, somebody different. He just say, I get what you're trying to do, and it's cool, but I think the questions landed like a lead balloon. Oh, well. And there's other things, but in the end, it was, again, it couldn't have been done better. South Florida Sports Talk Radio, Gio, you were monitoring. What was the biggest highlight? Did they acknowledge anything?
Very little. There was mentions over the weekend, leading up to the race. There was never any, hardcore like breakdown of of what's going on there, or who these characters are. That there was no character development. They just was into this event coming on down here, and so forth. But mentioned about how we don't know anything about racing and that kind of stuff. There was mentions of F1 and the situation, leading up to it. But there was it's not like, they were talking mostly Heat and whatever. There was even NFL talk going on.
Ooh, Heat, Sue, look at you. The big
But to
rally
be fair, the Heat, are here involved in a playoff run, and the local hockey team is involved in a playoff run, and so it's understandable that that would be the majority of the talk there. But the Joe Rose was talking some Formula One post race this morning about the whole thing and the greatness of it and so forth, and the big spectacle that's what this town is. And
you know why?
basically what we discussed,
Yeah, but you know why? Because Dan Marino was involved.
That's right.
Dan Marino hands
Well,
the
yeah.
trophy.
Well,
Hands
saw
the
Max
trophy,
got a
his
Dolphin
statue was
autographed
up
Dolphin
there, the
helmet.
whole deal.
That was Dan Marino was a big part of this deal. Like this was like Marino comes out and hands the trophy
And gives him his helmet, too.
and gave him an autographed helmet.
Did you see that? That was...
No, it was amazing. It was an amazing moment. It was like a religious experience
All but.
here in
all
South
but.
Florida. Oh,
It
yeah.
only would have been better if they had the Italian national anthem because, but it was too close. I know.
And after it was over, I sat there and I just sat and I enjoyed and I thought and I just like we were pretty close here, man.
Yeah.
We were pretty close. Oh,
It
well.
was close.
All right, so
No,
let's
man,
move
it's
into
not that close. That damn Red Bull is super fast on the straightaway, and the Ferrari ain't got nothing for it, man.
Well, yeah,
They
that's
got
true.
downforce. They're fast through the low turn corners, low speed corners. But man, come on, they need the upgrades for. There supposedly was upgrades in the car coming here, and so I don't know.
Need upgrades.
That could be
They need
problematic.
upgrades, but you know what?
They are considerably faster on that straightaway. It's not
Still
even
new track,
close.
though. Still new
Monaco.
track.
Monaco.
Every track we've been to, they've
gotta
been
win Monaco.
considerably faster. Blah blah blah.
You gotta win Monaco. That
Coda.
is a fact. You gotta win Monaco. If Charles wins Monaco, that's a big, giant, massive deal.
Then
And
he
the way
has,
the car
he has to get the pole for Monaco, then he can win it.
and the way the car is shaping up with all that downforce, they will be able to. And where the heck is the Red Bull going to stretch its legs at Monaco? There's nowhere. So hopefully. All right.
Well,
So
if the Ferrari's on the pole, then your plan sounds great. But if
Right.
Verstappen finds a way to get on the pole, then
Not
yeah,
so
but
much.
does he have enough? Does that car have downforce to get on the pole at Monaco? That's the question. We're all thinking about that. But look who's joining us from Australia. Matt taking a break from working
Matt.
on. Hello, Matt.
G'day, guys. G'day, Joe.
Good day. We're about to transition
G'day.
from
I just-
Formula One
I
to
just saw-
NASCAR. So go ahead.
I just thought I'd bring it down a bit. Joe, you've been, there he goes, puts me on my own again. You've just been up on the tyres, Joe. You and Gio just popping about this F1 stuff. I just sort of come in with a calm voice, bring us all back down to reality. It's over.
Thanks, Matt.
There you go.
It's good. Did they show the race Did they show the race in Australia?
No, we'll get that on a replay in about 2 months' time. No, yeah, it was live. It was live on Fox here in Australia. 5:30 a.m. I think it was the start of the race. 5 a.m. something like that. Yeah.
Did you wake up early?
So it's pretty early. I did not. That was a Monday morning here. So no. I didn't get up to go and see it, watch it. And yeah. Plus I had my daughter's 18th birthday party, which took me 2 days to recover from, and eight hours to clean up after.
Happy birthday. See, this is all the more reason why the race needs to be moved to Saturday night, Gio, so that we can get the Australians involved. It's not fair that our Sunday afternoon is their Monday morning and they can't enjoy it. If we run the race on Saturday night, then some more poor portions of the world can get involved. Well, good note there, Matt. Appreciate that. All right, so Cup Series. Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick, Justin Haley, Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, Michael McDowell, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Austin Dillon, and Daniel Suarez rounding out the top 10. They had their throwback night, which was really cool. The Trackhouse throwback Earnhardt cars, like Sue is repping Dale Earnhardt, all that. But in the end, it was a Darlington race coming down to the stripe. Byron, a couple laps to go, actually. Lord Byron is leading. Joey Logano is gaining on him very rapidly. And instead of trying to pass him, Joey just drives right through him and knocks him into the wall and goes on and wins the race. And in the interview, he says, that's what you get when you run me up into the wall. Yeah, I won. And I don't know. I didn't have a problem with it. I felt like it was Darlington racing, good, hard racing. Maybe if he wanted to pass him, he could have passed him really clean and super easily. Looked like he had way more speed. I felt like Joey did that absolutely on purpose and to send a message. And, some people like, whose side are you on? And this and that. Joey Logano has proven over the years that he will do stuff. And he did stuff. And he won the race. Anybody have any thoughts they want to throw out there?
He said he was even now.
Yeah. Does Byron think they're even? That's that.
I didn't hear that response.
No, Byron was racing them, and it was
side
by side, good hard racing.
So Byron did drive him up into the wall a little bit, and I saw Jamie McMurray giving his analysis, saying, "Well, that's something that happens." Yeah, it is, and sometimes people drive into each other's bumper and knock them out of the way and go on to win the race. That's something that happens too. I felt like
we're just not used to the punt move. That's all. I mean, it was just a direct hit in the,
right.
Hey, but it's just going to make for an interesting rest of 2022. That's all I have to say. So, Joey's bringing it on, and we'll see what the rest of those guys do. So, Joey's making friends.
Yeah, exactly. Derek is out there.
Joy.
Derek says, I think Byron screwed up and Joey was there to capitalize. Looked like Byron missed a downshift. Although I'm not a Joey fan, I didn't see anything way out of line. He did catch him very rapidly in that corner. Dragster Jeff says, we get up here on the West Coast and watch anytime they're running. Dragster Chastain put him in the wall 4 laps earlier. Olson's Trailblazer says NASCAR has made it this way. You have to win races anyway. We had it in Bristol as well. Yeah, like exactly.
I will say, yeah, like we've had this whole have at it boys mentality, and we love the rubbing and racing and the beating and banging and short tracks and road courses of the new Bristol, and we all love this, except when some driver that we don't necessarily think worthy of winning wins a race or does it. Get out of here with that nonsense. Why can't Joey?
That's not the case.
Why can't Joey beat up on somebody or knock him out of the way or nudge him or bump him or whatever you want to call it? That's what NASCAR has. That's what they want, and that's what the fans want to see. And when it happens to be a driver that they don't like so much, whether it's Kyle Busch or apparently now Joey is on the out and out, everybody starts raising a stink. You know what, William Byron, do better next time. Don't put Joey in the wallet. And you, as minor as you might have thought that was, should have thought, man, I did kind of nudge him into the wall. This guy might be looking for some revenge here. Because that's what NASCAR has turned into. All the young drivers, they've grown up driving this way. This is how they treat each other. That old school of, oh yeah, if you got a faster car, you got to try and get around me a couple of times. No, man, in this day and age where you have to win, guys, they're not afraid to put you in the car. By the way, the car is much more forgiving in these days too. I don't think Joey wrecked them. I think he just moved them out of the way, and then he got caught up there,
rattled his cage a little bit. He rattled his cage. Stu, do you disagree?
Oh yeah, it was great when Earnhardt put what's his name, Labonte in the wall at Bristol. Everybody loved that. Sue was all for that, right? That was all Labonte's fault. Labonte slowed down.
Awesome. That was a great race.
See, she loved that. Exactly. It all depends on who's doing it and who's getting it done to them, which depends on, like the Bandit said, it all depends on what part of the country how dumb you are. Right? It's the same thing. If your driver's getting punted, you hate it. If your driver's doing the punting, you like it. But what about Kyle?
He's not my driver, first off.
Who, Joey or Lord Byron?
Either one. Neither one's my driver. So
Okay.
I didn't even have a skin in the game on that one. I was just watching it and I saw them getting up against each other, got up against the wall a little bit when they were gone for position. But the other thing I also know is you did see cars getting loose when they were side drafting. That's how Ross Chastain did wreck. I mean, all of a sudden his car just got loose on him, and that's what took him out. So, but hey, Gio, you're right. Boys, have at it. It's Robin's race, and let's go after it. Have at it. It's just going to make for an exciting season. And yes, these cars, depending on how they wreck, seem to be a little bit more forgiving. But you seem to have there's that scale there because you see a couple of the wrecks and you just look at it and you're like, okay, they're done. With the way the chassis is set up now. So
I think they have a morning meeting and they see who I pick because two of my drivers didn't make it past lap 8.
All right, everyone.
And I still went up one position.
That means you must have had Kyle Busch.
There's an anti-Bobby conspiracy going on. I believe a lot of crap, but I don't believe that one, Bobby.
Oh,
Sorry.
Daniel Suarez, I'm sorry. Bobby Graham picked you this week, so
it's your turn to take the fall.
You're in trouble.
Two of them didn't make it past lap 8.
Well, we're about to get into that, and we will find out. Real quick, though, Kyle Busch left his car just in the middle of the road there, walked away. Clint Boyer was like, he took exception to that. Like, hey, man, you just leave your car there and walk away. There's other people that are still in the race. They're trying to do their thing, and they got to go around your junk. What up with that? We know that Kyle is having issues. Is getting re-signed at Gibbs. That's percolating to the top now. There's issues with that team. And Kyle,
I wouldn't jump to conclusion. I heard that the car broke and he couldn't make it turn into that stall, so he just left it there. What was he going to do? You don't want to expect him to get out and push it.
No, just keep driving it until it's out of the way.
It broke. That's what he said, that he couldn't turn in, that he was attempting to turn and the suspension or the whatever was broken and he couldn't turn, and that's how he ended up stuck right there, man. Got to give the guy the benefit of the doubt, man. He's not that crybaby young Kyle anymore. He seems to be a little more.
He wouldn't do that on purpose.
Exactly, man.
All right. Well, I don't know.
You're always taking these guys,
Kyle wouldn't have a temper tantrum or anything and just, throw his helmet and walk away. No.
Definitely not now without a sponsor.
No.
No, he's been very salty lately. We'll see. Okay, so here's what everybody cares about, though. The new and improved WFO Radio Fantasy League results on WFOradio.com. Now with emojis. Every week, Gio, it's getting better and better. Yes, there's emojis along with this. Dirt Girl number 2 won the week, and right next to her name, a trophy emoji. So not only did we have color-coded and arrows last week, now we have emojis. Oh my gosh, Patrick the Webmaster, you have taken it to a new level. Hockey Kid, second, 339. Bogan Bill, 327. Thug Life Motorsports, 324 and fourth. Fantasy Clueless. Good job, Fantasy Clueless, 322 and fifth. Lake Oconee Scott, Millerman, Aviator Racing, Patrick the Webmaster, and Dirt Girl rounding out the top 10 with 301. Most points, trophy emoji, Dirt Girl number 2, 352. Biggest gainer, big thumbs up, Dirt Girl number 2. Biggest loser, thumbs down. Intimidator Lives, number 3. Only 10 points.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
He dropped like 20-something places.
That's
wow.
The set of team.
He did
not good. Craig in Newhall is the leader over Dirty Hippies, who is second. And guess who's third? Mr. Fantasy NASCAR.
Oh
my
man.
Goodness. Epic battle shaping up between the most fantasy championships ever. Bad Brad 4th, Aviator Racing 5th, Dirt 99 6th, Clausen Racing 7th, Bogan Bill 8th, Hockey Dad 9th, and Ray Indy 10th. Team English 11th, Smothered and Covered 12th, Elephant Racers 13th. That's Dan. Good job. Hockey Kid coming on strong 14th, paying attention now. He's asking all this stuff. He's not listening to the show though, guys. He asked me all these questions about F1. Like, are you guys covering F1 now? I was like, are you listening to the show? I'm not listening to the show. It's like, you need to be listening to the show, Hockey Kid. Guess what? They're big fans.
I got a girlfriend. I got to listen to her nonsense all the time.
No, they're watching Drive to Survive.
Well, it should be. Everybody's watching it. Apparently, it's the highest rated thing in the world, in the universe.
I can't get it.
Man. It's so good, guys. Like, I feel foolish. I'm embarrassed that it took me this long to watch it. I am. You know which one I watched, Gio? The one with Dances with Wolf.
About that's the one where Valtteri gets
Valtteri,
86.
Yeah. But it's the story of who's going to get Valtteri's seat. Is it going to be George Russell
and
or is it going to be Valtteri? And they take you behind the scenes and they show these two guys, and you get to, you understand both of their side of the story. Nobody that's told very fairly.
Dude, it's literally it's a soap opera, man. They have made it a soap opera as if this wasn't already a soap opera involving these millions of gazillions of dollars and these giant Ferraris and Aston Martins and these big corporations, Mercedes. Now they've made it a literal soap opera, episode after episode.
Well, except, you write a soap opera in stuff that you think is going to be interesting, but this is rooted on what happens on the racetrack. So those two end up racing for a spot,
of course,
and they crash. And the way they edited that piece, like that alone, like that, the 2 minutes leading up to the crash, it was incredible. And when they crash, I watched these races. I know what happened, but I forgot what happened because it's not meaningful. And all of a sudden it becomes the most meaningful thing ever. Like I sat there, I put it on pause, and I just like, oh my God, really? They crashed after all that. They're fighting for their job. They're fighting for a job. And George crashes and takes them both out. And they both, by the way, it was a vicious crash, not some joke crash where they're like, oh, tire down. No, man, vicious. And they go to break right after that if there was a commercial break, but there wasn't. And it just kept on going. Anyway, just getting in on that. Back to it. Hockey Kid, who likes F1 now, apparently. Turn left, 15th. Northwest Nitro Fanatic, 16th. El Jefe. Southern Racer X, up 3. Way to go, Dave. Look at that. Chicken Pit Special, 19th. Jambalaya J, down 10. Bum, bum. Haven't heard from Jambalaya J. Sue, how's your air fryer?
Oh, my goodness. Can I just tell you all of the different things that I do with that air fryer? And I know this is going to sound really small, but we heated up pizza that we had frozen, and it was almost like getting it fresh. It came out so good. Wow. But man, that air fryer, you can do everything on that. And if you like chicken thighs with the skin, it comes out perfectly crispy. It's fantastic. We've done vegetables too, but that air fryer is top notch. Gotta get
you can all buy the air fryer in
you
the
don't have to lie
store.
to anybody and say you're making veggies in there. All right, nobody believes
veggies in there too.
Everybody's making air fried potatoes and all kinds of chicken and all the other things.
Butter, like you use butter lathered in lard with some bread crumbs around it.
Sure.
Yeah. No, it's great. If you want to see the air fryer, go to the WFO store, guys. It's available there on Amazon.
You won't regret it. It's awesome.
Way to go, Sue. It's a little pricier than the ones you get at the Walmart, but I don't know. I've had great luck with it. I think it's been pretty amazing, and Sue likes it too. Jambalaya J, thank you for the recommendation on the air fryer. 21, 00 dead on. 22, Dragster Jeff, up 1, way to go. Barbecue Bob, 23. Keen Racing, 24. Lowe's Chincones, down 10. Haven't heard from Lowe in a while. Zamboni John, 26, down 2. Fantasy Clueless, up 8. Olson's Trailblazers, down 2. Easy E009, up 4. Thug Life, up 6. Team 12 in 31st, down 6. Day Racing 21. Rich and Saugus, fail. Giovanni in Miami, fail, down 3. Remember, you were just in the top 10, Gio. What has happened?
The luck. I've crapped out.
You're crapping out. It's Sacramento Racing Fan. Beer Reader Racing, Hillbilly. Dirt Girl, up 18. Fat Tire. Stubo, up 11. Wow, Sue.
I know. Up 11. I'm so excited. It's awesome.
To 40th. All right,
I'm crawling my way back up. Crawling.
45th, the Stoge. 50th, Rusty Racing, down 12. Team Gray, down 6. 53rd. Race Day San Antonio Dixie, down 2. Where's Mike? Dude, I hung out with Mike. Here he is, 61st. Him and Dixie are very close. I hung out with Mike in Houston. Good guy. He was out there like telling real journalists to listen to the show. And I got nervous. It was like, oh, San Antonio Mike is telling like real, print journalists, man, serious people. Print journalists already don't like electronic media people as it is because we have a lot less to do. So, and he's like, yeah, this guy's got a really good show. He's a very fine show. It's kind of a cast of characters. There's a lot of people on there, but I think you'll enjoy it. It was the guy from the Houston Chronicle Dispatch. So now I'm nervous. He's listening, maybe. Way to go, Mike. Patrick the Webmaster, 63rd. Intimidator lives down 27, 60. He's out of guys. That's it. Cervix Splitter. WFO Joe up 4. Ahead of Pickle Rick and now back ahead of Bobby Graham. And so I guess this is my lot in life. Battling Bobby Graham.
I even come up one losing 2 people on the 8th lap.
Yeah. You know what, Bobby? You did come up.
People got some bad scores.
But now I'm ahead of you. Feel it, Bobby Graham. Feel the pain.
I'm just burning.
He's sitting in a Hulk and then the bottom of turn 4, just burning up. All right. Now it's time for Sports Collision. Gio and I put a time limit on this show. We're fast approaching. So, Giovanni, if you got any other NASCAR thoughts, fantasy thoughts, throw them out there, but take it. Sports Collision.
No other thoughts on there. You know, the whole world has been revolving around Formula One and Miami Grand Prix, and so have most of our thoughts. But in the regular stick and ball world of sports, the NBA playoffs have continued, and your Miami Heat, unfortunately, are now in a battle 2-2, tied at 2 games apiece with Sue's Philadelphia 76ers. And 2 games have been won each by the home team. And Game 5 will be on Tuesday night. And so it is a best 2 out of 3 series. But I do not expect the Miami Heat to ever again shoot 20% over 2-game course from 3-point. So definitely not at home, because the one thing the role players do enjoy is the home cooking in the playoffs. We don't see those discrepancies so much during the regular season for various reasons. But in the playoffs, when everybody's on the same amount of rest and every little detail matters, the home cooking makes a giant deal, because that damn Danny Green showed up in Game 3, and I didn't even realize that guy was still in the league. And then James Harden, who has turned into a role player. I mean, let's not forget he was an MVP just 2 years ago. All of a sudden, lost 10 pounds over the weekend, and and got off of the South Beach diet, and showed up in Game 4 and turned into the old James Harden, or I should say that James Harden of old, and not the old James Harden.
Monica's check it out later. Monica, thank you very much. Appreciate you. Appreciate that.
But great series going on there. I believe all the series are tied at 2, with the exception of the Golden State. They've had a pretty good, easy time beating up on Memphis, who is just not quite ready for prime time as great as Ja Morant is. And I think Golden State will take command of that series tonight. They're up 2-1, but they're more than likely going to really just deal with Memphis, as Ja is not playing and he's hurt. And that's the NBA action. NHL, 5 series are tied at 2. 2 more teams are trying to take 2-1 series and tie them at 2. And the only team that is really right now whooping is Colorado, is up 3-0. And I can report that your Florida Panthers have just won in overtime and now have also tied their series with Washington at 2 games apiece after being blown out in 2 of those 4 games. After winning the President's Cup, or whatever they call it, best record in the league.
So now it's 2-2, right?
2-2. So 6 of the 8 series are tied at 2. Colorado's up 3-0 on Nashville, 3-0 on Nashville, and Calgary and Dallas are 2-1 Dallas, but they're playing Game 4 tonight. And so there you have it. That's your NHL report, NBA report. Baseball is about, as quickly as it is, we're almost 20% into the season. Not much to report there other than first place teams I can think of off the top of my head, only because I've seen this stat being beaten to me for about 10 days in a row since it happened. New York Yankees, New York Mets, LA Angels, and LA Dodgers are all in first place. And it's like the first time historically it's happened. So every damn sports show in the world has to tell you that every single day while it's still going on. And the other teams in the division leads are the Minnesota Twins and the Milwaukee Brewers. And there's your MLB report, Sports Collision going on. We really only care about Formula One this weekend.
Hey, what about Rich Strike, man? What about Rich Strike?
Oh, my goodness.
80-1.
You made me even forget about the Kentucky Derby, where the 80-1. Look, by the way, here are my notes. Kentucky Derby, 80-1, Rich Strike. You see that?
Great.
Sports Collision. It's the first thing on there. Horse who
Really?
was not in the race on Friday, or just got into the race on Friday. We saw this live. Joe and I are, always try to make a point of watching these, greatest 2 minutes in sports or whatever they call it.
Yep.
And it was great. The horse came from all the way in the tail end. I have no idea how he worked through his way, bobbing and weaving. All of a sudden, got on the inside lane and hit the turbo button. He looked like he opened up the DRS or curves or whatever the hell was going push to pass. He hit everything. That horse had the nitro
Nitrous
button.
oxide, baby. None of that nonsense.
If he was racing track and field, they would give him a steroid test immediately.
Yeah, especially the way he tried to fight that other horse. Like afterwards,
he tried to eat the other horse. Are you kidding me? He tried to literally eat the other horse. It was awesome. But that was exciting. I think he was really excited, man. That horse was juiced. He just won, man.
That
you gotta understand, nobody believed in him.
Gotta
He
watch
said
how you
nobody
say that.
believed in him.
Don't say that too loud.
Don't say that, Gio.
We had that last year.
We don't need controversy. Not another one.
What? The horse was definitely very excited.
Look, I was joking about this earlier in the week. Like Baffert not being there might be great, because all his horses end up getting disqualified for being on the juice and stuff. So it gave somebody else another chance. And look at it this way.
Can you imagine having that ticket, guys, for $5, a $5? Yeah, that guy who puts 80 to 1. Let me do it, $5. That would have been a pretty great day.
Yeah,
that would have been a big steak. There would have been a big bone-in ribeye at the end of that day.
Did you see where they went into all these celebrities was in there and they were just picking names out of the hat, and they were supposed to make a bet on whatever horse that they pull it at, and the guy pulled out Red Strike. He goes, "Man, this horse ain't gonna win anything," and he threw it back.
He threw it back.
There you go.
I missed that.
You should have known.
He said, "I'm not making a bet on this horse."
Oh my gosh, the gambling gods will frown upon him for the rest of his life. That's it.
I always consider throwing sprinkling a few dollars on those really long shots. It's just one.
Well, it was an exciting race. It was a very exciting race. I love it.
Longest long shot to ever win the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, the other one was 91 to 1, 80 to 1. That's incredible. You put $10 down, like, oh my God, you're loaded. But it made me think. We went to Formula One today or this weekend. Paulie the White Guy's got the greatest stat of all time forever. He was at the Belmont when the Triple Crown was won for the first time in like 80 years or something, sitting on the stripe, like watching them come by. And you all know what the
Secretariat that won that, man. It wasn't 80 years. We're not that old.
Well, it was a long time, maybe not 80, but it was 50. It was a long time, 35, long time, man.
That was the year we were born or something.
Secretariat, 78.
Hey.
73.
Easy.
All right. So 45 years, whenever this was. That must have been a pretty crazy moment.
You know what? Screw Paulie and his stat, man. We were at the inaugural Miami Grand Prix.
But did he have any money on it, though?
Yeah,
the one not underwater.
He was loaded up.
Now that makes it a good stat.
How about Vettel? Yeah, underwater. All right, good job with Sports Collision. All right, final thoughts, guys. Matt in Australia is down there working on Porsches. Let's let him chime in and see what he's got to say. Or he's actually looking very stern, and it's leading me to believe that he is frozen. Because Matt's not that stern a character.
It is. I thought it was a good profile shot going on there.
So Matt's moving for you guys because he's not moving for me. All right, now he's
moving. Well, he had the chisel look for me for a while, but now it looks like he might be back.
That is a good-looking man right there, guys. Let's just say it. Matt in Australia. All right, Matt, what do you got going? Tell us about give us the Down Under report.
It's Matt Clark, not Matt Hagan, mate. So. If you're looking for a good-looking guy, it's not me.
Oh, sorry. I got the brand
quick Down Under report. Is this? Yeah, easily mistaken, Joe. Down Under report. Final thought. Is that what you're after?
It's the same thing. We're merging it together.
Yeah, one and the same.
Well, it's kind of been, you've been giving us a report from Down Under there, and I've been enjoying it. Racing. I know you got some stuff going on with V8 supercars, etc.
The interwebs working for a second because I'm out on location. That's why I'm probably having a bit of trouble here. We had Nitro Champs this weekend, just gone at Sydney Dragway. And team we look after, Davies Racing, Gareth and Michelle Davies, come runner-up in Door Slammer. Michelle is seeing some success after a few years of getting on top of the new combination. And also, shout out probably a lot of the American top fuel guys I know and would have heard of by now. There was pretty nasty start line accident on startup with the Jim Marine racing team.
Oh, no.
And Gus, who used to work on Rapisada's car when they were racing in the States. Gus is a bit of a character. He was actually in our workshop only last week getting all their torque wrenches calibrated for Jim Reed Racing. Start line explosion on the startup of the car. I'm not going to speculate what went wrong or what happened, but
sure,
it might be obvious to some. 5 of the crew guys were taken to hospital. Gus was the worst off. A lot of them got very, very minor burns, but Gus also had a relation to his hand, and I believe he was hopefully coming out of hospital today. So,
oh my goodness,
very fortunate outcome, I guess, in a bad situation. If anyone looks it up, I think it's on. It's all over the internet. If it did it, it made TV over here. It made the evening news on every station. If you're going to try and throw a positive out of a negative, it had more advertising for drag racing than we've got in 10 years. What happened out there? But as I said,
here's the story from Competition Plus with some a little more meat on the bone. Thank you very much for that, Matt. Like, okay, so perfect example. Like, this is the world, right? Like, we're on our Formula One big massive party afterglow, and at the exact same time, something very serious is happening. And this is very significant to me because I just had this thought the other day, Matt. I really genuinely did. I'm down on the starting line at ZMAX, and I found myself looking over at the tower, just kind of like an airheaded moment, which hopefully everybody has them. I have them every once in a while. And I caught myself and I said, man, you shouldn't really turn your back on these nitro cars ever for 1 millisecond if you can. And so I got my head back into the game for a minute. And here you're telling a story that is very pertinent to that. So here we go by Bobby Bennett, competitionplus.com, media partner of WFO Radio. In their first public statement since the horrifying Ready Line explosion Saturday night, Jim Reed Racing immediately thanked the drag racing community for its support. We have been absolutely inundated with calls and messages of support from all corners of the drag racing and wider community since Saturday evening. We are very grateful to everyone and their well wishes, said crew chief Bruce Reed of Jim Reed Racing. JRR also set the record straight on misinformation that was circulated following the incident. As often happens with incidents such as this, there is a bit of incorrect information circulating. So I'd like to formally confirm that 5 crew members were transported to various hospitals on Saturday as a precaution, Reed explained. 4 of those crew members were checked over and then discharged on Saturday evening, and a number of them returned to the track on Sunday to assist with the pack-up. The 5th crew member, Gus, as mentioned by our Australian correspondent, Matt Clark, stayed in the hospital for care of a cut on his hand, which required further attention. This was completed on Sunday, and we expect that he will be discharged from Westmead Hospital shortly. This was written at 16:05 on the 9th, which is today. I've been sharing the messages we have been receiving with the crew, and we are very appreciative of the support. We look forward to seeing you all at the racetrack again very soon. We would like to send our thanks to the racetrack staff, officials, ambulance, and fire volunteers at Sydney Dragway for their assistance and support. As for the next round of the series, in just under 2 weeks' time, we will be conducting a full assessment of the damage to the car this week before making a final decision whether to attend that event. And there you go. No, what caused it. But as you said, Matt, I'm sure the people in the biz can narrow it down to 2 or 3 things. And in the end, we just are very happy everybody walked out of that miscue. And I will be a little more attentive on the starting line thanks to this story.
Holy crap, I saw the video. Thank
Where'd
you.
you see the video? Where's the video?
Yeah.
Check your text.
Okay, here we go.
Oh,
Sue
man.
Morris, here we go, guys. Joe
Thank you,
Costello.
correspondent
Just to give you a
Hugo.
bit more insight.
Yeah.
To give you a bit of
Holy
insight
crazy.
into Jim Reed Racing's statement there, Joe, a couple of the media, or especially one media outlet, said that 2 of the crew members were in a critical condition fighting for their lives.
Oh.
So there was a bit of fake news, don't you guys call it? Fake news.
Fake
Yeah.
news.
There's
Yeah.
been
Yeah,
a
it's fake news.
miscommunication
Fake
there,
news is
which
very
was
real.
terrible.
It happens in everything.
Yeah.
Fake
And there are
news
people
is
that-
real.
Which put a little, in different areas. In different areas of the drag racing community throughout Australia, that put, a lot of concern out there that these guys have really got it a lot worse than what they did. So,
Well, it's a fact, but that happens. Okay, so just like, not to make this about anything that it's not, but that happens in every story. There's some jackball out there typing fake. Me and Matt Clark are having a very serious moment, Matt, and everybody else is laughing hysterically. They've got the laughs going on because it's something that we said. I don't know what it is, but I'm very against fake news. All right, you're about to watch a genuine reaction shot, Joe Costello reaction to the video. These are big on YouTube. Everybody likes the reaction shots, to see. Here it is.
Fake news is real.
Yep. Here we go.
Exclusive video showing the sheer force of the blast.
Here we go.
A view from the rear wing of the Jim Reed racing team.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that is a nightmare.
No, the replay, man. Watch the replay. It's slow-mo. It's like,
Oh my gosh.
oh boy. Well, as Joe watches the video of that horrific accident over there, and we do see his natural reaction. There it is. I just
shocking.
burst over you guys discussing it earlier when I saw it, but it's like, whoa, holy scary, man. It really is.
Super scary. So they're so lucky. They're all so lucky. Like they're just lucky to be around. That's a huge explosion. Like, and you could be blinded. Like, how about that? Like nobody's blinded.
Blinded.
Man. Frightening. All right. Good wake up call. Way to go, Matt. I know, everybody else, they're laughing, having their own fun. You and me, we're connected in a moment of seriousness that I am going to take this forward and be safer because of it. So thank
jokes,
you.
Man. What do you want me to do now?
What inspired that?
I just repeated what he said.
Which is fake news is real.
Right.
Fake news is real. It's a real thing.
Man. It was the right time.
There's people that put that stuff out on purpose, by the way, like for their own lifeless, attention. Like, hey, it'll be super cool if I use this moment of tragedy to misinform some people in a fun way. Now their families think they're hurt, except they're not. Wow.
Hey, Matt, you need to bring Job down again.
Yeah.
Matt, you need to bring him down again.
Mellow. Okay, I'm good. Thank you, Matt. That was wonderful. And he's frozen.
He's frozen.
He's having a tough time. He's out in the field this week, guys. All right, Bobby Graham, what about you? What do you got?
Just a small one. Just remember your pets
Yes.
are people too. I was waiting for Matt. I didn't want to get in case he come unfroze. But your pets are
that's
people
great
too.
advice. Remember your pets. Don't accidentally forget about your pets, people. Feed them. Give them
That's it.
water.
And don't let them out if they don't know where they're at, or they'll disappear, and you have to hunt them for a couple days. So,
how did you come across this one, Bobby?
I have some new neighbors. I had sold some land. They come in and they just couldn't wait, and they brought their little camper just to stay the night, And she brought her dogs, and when she opened the door to the campers, boom, they were gone for 2 days. She wouldn't leave until she found her dogs.
Oh no!
And the poor thing, she was upset for 2 days, but they finally found them. Somebody found them.
Well, don't you
4 or 5 miles from here?
Can't you put like a Find My iPhone style chip into your dogs now?
Oh yeah, they had a chip, but when you could, that's only good if somebody catches them and
You mean you
And
can't
take
just
them to the
track
vet.
them? You can't track them on your
No.
your iPhone?
Well, if you have a special collar, you can, but it only goes for so
Copy.
much.
All right,
I mean,
but
Bobby can barely get high-speed internet where he's at, and you want him to have the
got
damn
my
dog
phone
tracking
call
device
today.
app, right? You know,
Bobby
Like,
claims that he's got this problem solved, guys.
I got my phone call today. It looks like they're going to build the tower in the front yard, so I can maybe finally get internet and cable.
Wow.
all right, Bobby.
This is where you
Way
hit the
to
applause
go.
sound effect
Moving
there.
up on up to the
I hope so.
2022.
So, Bobby, is it going to be a tree? Like, what's it going to be? What's it going to look like? Do you get to
I
pick your
to-
design of a tower?
I told him no guy wires, just a self-supporting tower. So it's, of course,
I'm
like I
kinda
said, like it's
confused.
a quarter of a mile from the house to my front yard. It goes out that far, but it's going to be in the front yard. You know?
I'm kind of confused by all of this. You get to pick your own tower? What's that?
Sort of. I turned down their offer on the first one. Has guy wires. You know, you have different types. This one is probably going to look like the tree. I don't know if it's going to look like the tree or just a plain Jane, but
This is very interesting to me. You can select your own cell phone tower. I want to get in on this. I'm calling T-Mobile as soon as we're off the show because mine is inferior. Certainly.
And I need a new phone, so I'm waiting until I can get them here to find out who's the owner, so I know what phone to get.
Copy that. All right,
Way
Matt
to
Clark,
go,
did you finish your thought because you froze up and we wanted to move on? Matt's finished.
He's done with you, man.
He's done. He's had limited.
I've got
cell
really
service. You might
bad.
just wanna-
I got really bad. No,
You don't have to blame it on the internet. You don't have anything further to discuss with Joe.
We love Matt Clark so much, though. He's such a wonderful man. Thank you, Matt. Good job. All right, Bobby. Bobby, you as well. Sue, final thought.
Well, it was another exciting weekend with AMA Supercross, fun weekend. Justin Barsha kind of did a Joey Logano, except not as good. So against Malcolm Stewart, but it wasn't enough. That's why I said he didn't do it good enough because Malcolm Stewart actually finished third overall and beat him. So, but the crowd definitely voiced their displeasure for Justin Barsha, but I give him credit. He actually owned up to it. He's like, hey, that's what I am. That's who I am. You've seen me all this time. So, but the other call out I have to do with the race is that if you want to hear somebody belt out a national anthem, Paige Ann, who sung the national anthem at the Utah Supercross race this past weekend, oh my goodness, she's 15 and she did an incredible job. So if you get a chance and you want to look it up and you want to hear a national anthem that's going to bring you to tears, I mean,
What's her name? Paige what?
Paige Ann.
Paige Ann.
Paige Ann, Anne. She's 15.
Okay.
And she does a national anthem that'll bring you to your knees.
I'll put her on our list.
Yes.
Let's get her. Let's go. We got to get her for the NHRA.
NHRA has to get her. She just, oh my goodness, just moving. That's all I can say. So, but yeah, go look her up. Check it out. It's impressive on how she can sing a national anthem. So she does a lot of different. She's done it Utah Jazz and others. So, but man.
Wonderful. All right. I like it. We are in NHRAs. They're looking. I'm not really in charge of that, but I'll put a name in someone's ear and who knows, that'll be great. Like I'm excited to have Honey Country back whenever we can get them back. Right. But whenever I love it. Paige Ann. Excellent. Well, good job, Sue. Excellent. I appreciate you and you're keeping us up. Like we've run the gamut of motorsports. From NASCAR, the only thing we have not spoken about is NHRA drag racing, which is this weekend in Richmond, the return to Richmond, Virginia, where I'll be talking about that on NHRA Nitro. Alan Reinhart will be my guest, but also Spider-Man McBride as the quickest Nitro motorcycles on the earth are going to have a match race, 1 and 2. The quickest and fastest. Larry McBride is going to be there, and he's going to have like a link to get tickets if you want to get tickets to support him in his match race. And I think the eyes of the world, if you're into motorcycle drag racing, the eyes of the world will be on Richmond Raceway, Virginia Motorsports Park, because this big match race is going to be kind of a cool thing, weather permitting. weather permitting. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'm going to put you down in the ready room, and then we're going to talk to the Giovanni in Miami and get his final thoughts. Thank you, Bobby Graham. Thank you, Sue. All right, Gio. Here we go. Coming up on that time limit that we set right on time. Final thoughts. Formula One.
Wow, we are excellent. Let's wrap it up real quickly. Dwayne Wade becomes Hall of Fame eligible 2023 next year, and he will definitely be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yep. Standing right next to Martin Brundle. And he's like, oh, who is this person? That's the guy. You're in Miami. That's the guy. Get him. Nah.
And Liberty Media, man. What can you say about them? F1 through the roof. The whole serious thing is still going on. And don't forget, they own the Major League Baseball Atlanta Braves, who are the defending World Series champs. So they're obviously doing something right.
And Sirius XM. So they're also
yeah.
That's great. No, I agree.
mean, that product kind of sucks. I have it in the car. They talk too much. We've always had the same thing. It's too much like landline radio, like traditional old
XM was the better product,
and not enough, right? Like an audio jukebox, like it should be.
Well,
but nonetheless, the product still exists.
That knew their stuff. They just didn't rattle.
By the way, man, they keep sending me these things. There's like a $20 a month program for XM. I'm like, why on earth would I pay $20 for radio? Like, when all that stuff is on, like all the Apple and all the other stuff.
All right.
I don't know. Whatever. I listen
That's the final thought. Good luck with Steve Johnson this week. Yeah, Steve Johnson, 12 noon. John Force says he's crazy. When things become more American, it doesn't mean that they become bad. It means that they can become different, and some might say better, especially if you're trying to do something like make money, which Americans are very good at, making money. So when you think about Formula One and where it was and what it is, Formula One was good at making money for Bernie Ecclestone. But now Formula One is good at making money for everybody involved. Liberty Media and Stephen Ross and everybody.
The promoters, right.
The promoters. Remember, it used to be a deal where you had to sign a check to Bernie. And the only way that most of these
50 million just to play ball.
Yeah. And so who could afford to do that? The, dictators and countries where they're robbing their people and they want to draw some attention to that country.
Or they're just pulling dollar bills out of the sand, in the Middle East over there.
Exactly. This is a much more legit deal. They partnered with this Stephen Ross group. They did a split the money kind of deal. And they hit a 500-foot Mickey Mantle home run with it. And they deserve credit. Anybody that tries to crap on it, that would be a bad move. The question is, what do we try to borrow within the NHRA community to grow our thing and everybody make a little money? That's where my mind is right now. And that's what I'm going to be thinking about for the next couple of days. Like I already have said, throw some fake grass down. It's got to be the best bang for the buck.
Fake AstroTurf.
Throw some fake grass down somewhere. Find a spot, 100 by 100, fake grass it, and get some ferns out there, man. Let's put a couple of ferns, some fake grass, some food trucks, a DJ, and a bar, and see what happens. And then maybe an area around 800 feet down the racetrack where people can congregate and hang out and talk to each other and watch nitro cars go by at 300 miles an hour. I think if you do that and you put it at every track, it's going to be somewhere close with the fake grass, the ferns, the DJ, the food trucks, the bar at every track.
Bars, plural.
A couple enough to accommodate those people. I think you've got yourself a mini success that people will want to go and be a part of and go there and sit there and hang there and socialize there and talk drag racing and watch drag racing. That's what I think. WFO. All right, Giovanni, great job.
WFO. The lines were a little bit longer on the Sunday too.
Yeah. Oh my God. They definitely were. They were long lines.
WFO, everyone.
WFO. There he goes. Giovanni in Miami. Weighing in. And we are also excited about it. Thanks to our sponsors. Really appreciate them. They're a big part of this show. We really ramp them up later on in the week. But Phillips Connect and VP Racing Fuels, of course. Go to vpracingfuels.com, FTIperformance.com, Total Seal Piston Ring, Samtech.edu, and Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, of course. And our great friend Marvin Rodak, Rodak'sCoffeeandGrills.com, hot sauces, spice rubs, everything good. Sue drinks the coffee. I drink the coffee. I can't go a day without the coffee. Marvin Rodak, 817-924-6821. And Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. You can drive a dragster at frankhawley.com. And, of course, samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Start your education at full speed. If you're a brand new WFO radio listener, you tried listening to this show or watching it on YouTube because of the Formula One Miami Grand Prix, that's great. We'll give you one last look at our photos as we roll on out. But I'm going to be doing some more social posts. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thanks, guys. WFO.